Hello there, my math students. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. We're getting to the end of the year. So we're going to do a real-world application of using math today. In the email that I sent your family, there were several sheets of paper with information about them about keeping your books and managing a budget at home. And so this is a very important way to plan your life so that you can be making sure that you are financially stable and responsible and saving and planning towards the things you want to do with your money. So numbers are all a way to give us information so that we can make decisions that greatly affect our lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one of each of the type of papers that I sent you. So the first one is called Roanoke. That's the guide, and it's bookkeeping basics. So that's the first one we're going to go over. The second one we're going to go over is Budget Busters with DeAndre. And the third one we're going to look at is Monthly Payment 101 with Jessica. She's trying to decide if she wants to take out a particular loan and if that will fit in her budget. And this is real algebra in there. So you're going to see what you're learning about in action. Okay, so what I don't have a way of editing these on the overhead, on the projector. So I will have them in front of me, and I want you to also, and I'm going to talk my way through them, and I'm going to have things written on the overhead that refer to these papers. So there'll be a modified chart or a modified question. All right, so let's say a prayer and get started. Father in heaven, thank you for this day. I just pray so much that you'd help me and strengthen me to use the right words to be the very best teacher I can be right now. And I pray that you would bless my students, that you would protect them, and that you would calm them and help them to focus and really see why having a budget is important and that using math in the real world is part of our lives and it's important. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so let's get started. All right. So the first thing we're going to look at is Roanoke, and let's read this out loud. Do you have enough money for your iPod 9.0? Can you really afford to eat lunch at Red Lobster every day? Is purchasing a Camaro a good idea? Might be a fun idea, might not be a good idea depending on your budget, but maybe it is. While spending money may feel like a lot of fun, what if you don't have it? Even worse, what if you don't even think about these kind of things? In the United States, we live in a culture of consumption, but as recent market crashes have pointed out, we need to improve our financial literacy. Financial literacy is understanding the numbers. In this assignment, you will analyze an individual's sources of income and expenses. In each case, the individual is asking the question, can I afford this? Okay, so we have Roanoke here, who is a database engineer. He's 25 and he's single. And here's his salary. Now I have it on, I wrote it a chart also. So his salary is $2,200 a month. Not very much. That's changed since this is written, but that's okay. And here's his expenses, and you can see why $2,200 a month isn't much when you're spending $850 on housing, $200 on transportation, and on down the list. Okay, so he would like to purchase a new HD monitor for his computer. Can he afford it this month? All right. So if you look down below, the first question is, the HD monitor that he would like to purchase is $188. Can he afford it? Does he have enough money? Well, if this is the salary, so that's the money coming in, and these are all the expenses, all we have to do is total those up and subtract. So go ahead right now and pause the video and use a calculator to total up all of those expenses. Okay, so what did you get? When I totaled it, I got $2,060. That's how much his expenses are. So to find out what's left, we're going to take 2,200 and subtract 2,060, and we get $140. So that's how much he has every month left over. So the monitor is $188. Can he afford it? No, he can't. But if he really wants it, he might be thinking, what can we do? How can I make some extra money so that I can buy that? If you want it right now. Now, of course, if he has this amount every month, then if he waited 2 months, he would be able to do it. But let's say he needs a new HD monitor right away. So let's look at the next question. Over the weekend, there was a database disaster at his job. Roanoke has been called in for overtime. If he gets paid $25 an hour, how many hours will he need to work in order to buy the monitor? Okay, well, don't forget, it costs $188, and he has $144. So how much does he need right now? He needs $48. So how much overtime would he have to work in order to pay for the monitor? Well, he would need to work 25 times 2 would give him $50, so he would only need to work 2 hours of overtime, and he would be able to afford it right away. Okay, so that's our first example. Now in your worksheet packet, you have Chloe, Enrique, Mary, and Owen that all have different budget challenges. So you can work on those after we're done. Okay, so the next one, if you look at the next page, it's Budget Busters, and we have DeAndre here. So let's read his story. Budgets are a way to help people keep track of their income and plan their expenses. Of course, unexpected events will arise, so having a solid idea of how to use your money is a great idea. Budgets are also used to help control or trim spending. For instance, if you have budgeted 10% of your income on groceries and you're spending over 15%, then perhaps there are ways to reduce your cost. And a budget, I'm just adding this, it helps pinpoint where you're overspending. In this assignment, you will be given budgets for different individuals. You'll also be given their actual spending. Will their spending line up with their budgets, or are they out of whack? Do they need a trim? Put your percentage skills and problem solving to the test. Okay. So let's, we don't need the rest. Let's just see here, DeAndre. I wrote not as pretty of a chart as he has here. There's a few things we need to figure out. Okay, it says he is an entrepreneur and he has a family of 4. His annual salary is $65,000, and he pays a 8% tax rate. So the first thing we need to do is figure out his taxes. So let's take 28%, that would be 0.28 times 65,000, and what is that? That is $18,000. I'm going to erase this now. $18,200 he's going to pay in taxes, and that's not a low rate. That's a low rate. So that's what pays for our roads, our police, our firemen, cleaning up the beach. Government offices like the mayor and the city hall, and all kinds of things that happen, our roads. Okay, so his annual income, annual net income, then after you pay taxes, would be subtracting 65,000 minus $18,200, and you get $46,800. So that's how much money he gets to spend. And we divide that by 12 to find out how much he has per month. Okay, because what we're looking at here is per month. So here is his projected, is in the way of spending. This is how he projects that he'll spend: 30% on housing, 20% on groceries, transportation, debt, savings, and church. Okay? Now this is projected. This is what he planned for. Now let's see what he actually did. For housing, he planned on 30%, but he actually spent $1,200. So what percent is that? Well, we get that by taking $1,200 and dividing by the total, which is $3,900. So $1,200 divided by $3,900 is 307, which is 30.7%. Can you read that okay? Okay, make it a little bigger. All right, so groceries. What actual percent is that? So we take $950 divided by $3,900. Okay, and that is 0.243, which is 24.3%. Transportation, we do the same thing. We get $490 divided by $3,900. And we get 0.126, which is 12.6%. Okay. And let's see, debt, $585 over my total income. What percent is that? 0.15, that is 15%. Church is $390 over $3,900. That's 0.1, which is 10%. And savings is $285 out of $390, and that's 0.073, so that's 7.3%. So these are all the actual percentages of what he spent this month. Now let's go down below. There is another chart, and we're going to compare the actual expenditures with the projected. So now this time we're going to take what was projected. We want to know the amounts. So like I know the income is $3,900, and I'm going to multiply that by 30%. This is projected, okay? So if I do that, 3,900 times 30%, I get 1,170. Okay, so this is what I actually spent. So I already wrote all of these amounts right here. Okay? So I think those are actually written on yours already. Yes, they are. Okay? So I'm going to take 39% times, for groceries, 20%, 0.2. And I get 780. All right? And here I take 39% times, for transportation, 15%, and I get 585. That's the projected amount he was going to spend. For debt, he projected $15,000. That's the same amount. 15%, sorry. For church giving, he projected 10%. And for savings, he projected 10%. Okay, so now what's the difference? Well, here's what he actually spent, and this is what he projected. So here he was over a little bit on housing. Okay, for groceries he actually spent $980. He thought he was going to spend $780, and so that is $170 more on that. Transportation was actually less, and so that's a negative 95. And debt worked out to be the same. Church giving was the same. Okay, and then here, his actual expenditures for savings, he didn't save as much either. Okay, so now we're looking at this column. So this is the analysis. You can see here that he spent more money on housing and food than he thought, and he saved money on transportation, but he also didn't put money into savings like he thought he was going to. Okay, so let's look at the questions with that in mind. How well did he adhere to his budget? Well, we can say what we said. His groceries are much higher. And savings are much lower. So looking at this, what can we do about it? Well, in the future, was it a normal month for food? Did they have a big birthday party, or was there a Christmas celebration with lots of big meals? Is that why there was more money? Maybe we need to have a Christmas budget so you don't go over. Or are we going to be able to then trim back the next month, maybe not eat as much meat, or maybe not go out to dinner as much, so that we can actually save money? Okay, let's go on now. Number 2, he wants to save more money for his children's college education. What would you suggest he could trim from his spending? Well, looking at it, it would be hard, but maybe he could perhaps, what do you think? I think he could trim groceries or transportation. Or he could consider downsizing his house. That seems kind of drastic. I think transportation might be easiest. I know a lot of people take the train in order to save money on gas and costs of using a car a lot, or you can carpool with someone, so you share the cost of gas. That could actually trim gas quite a lot if you have somebody who lives near you that you can go to work with, things like that. Okay, so that's Budget Busters. Let's put that aside. And now we're going to look at Monthly Payments 101. All right. So get that page out, Monthly Payments. Okay. While spending only $2,000 to take home a brand new Toyota Camry may sound like a lot of fun, paying on that loan for 72 months may not be. That's 6 years. In the United States, the commentary after our last economic collapse, and I'm just telling you that was 2008, was that Americans tend to buy things out of their reach. Homes, cars, televisions, you name it, we buy it. Perhaps short-sighted buyers expect a promotion that never comes, or are on the receiving end of an unforeseen accident or illness. Nonetheless, outstanding budgets and monthly payments is an essential component of an individual's financial literacy. Okay, in this assignment you will use a slightly intimidating looking equation. Now, I know we've done simple interest before, but this has to do with compound interest, and that's why it has such a mean-looking equation. But it's really not that bad. Once you put the numbers in, it's really not that hard. Okay, you will need to plug in everything, blah, blah, blah. All right, here's our formula. So we've got C is the loan amount, P is our monthly payment, R is the rate, and N is the number of months. Okay. So Jessica is considering borrowing $15,000. So that's her loan amount. Or C. Okay? For a new Ford Fusion, if the monthly payment is less than $250 and the total cost is less than $16,000. So she only wants to pay $15,000 for the car and only $1,000 in interest. Now that sounds like, wow, that's a lot of money. Trust me, interest adds up really fast. You would be shocked. You should ask your parents how much of their house payment goes to paying off the interest in a 30-year loan. Okay, so let's use our equation. We've got, I'm going to write it up here, my monthly payment. Do you see the chart there? I've got $15,000, so I'm going to put in $15,000. And then my rate. Now be careful, there are two written here. The R in the formula is monthly rate, okay? It's not annual. So I'm going to be putting in 0.005 and then 1 plus 0.005 and N is 72 months, okay? Over 1 plus 0.005 to the 72 minus 1. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is I'm going to multiply 15,000 by 0.005. And I get 75. Okay, now, this is the tricky one. 1 plus 0.005, that's not hard. What I want you to do on your calculator, there is a little button if you have an iPhone or if you have a TI-30 calculator. Maybe ask your parents to borrow their phone for a minute. If you look on the calculator and you turn it sideways, there are a whole bunch of keys on the left. And there's one, I'm going to go down just a minute, that looks like this. Okay? So now, what you're going to do is you put in our 1.005, then you hit the button, and then you hit 72. So I'm going to go do that right now. Y to the X and 72. And you should get 1.43. Okay? That's how you do it right there. You put this in the calculator, you hit that button, and then you hit 72. Okay? Now let's keep going. Now I'm going to do the same thing down here. Well, actually I can just use what I had up there. And then I subtract 1. So I'm going to have 75 times 1.43 equals 107.25 over 0.43 when I subtract 1 there, and I get 249. And it's a little different than the answer. The answer on the page is 248. That's because we rounded a couple numbers, okay? So my monthly payment is my payment, P, is $249.40. Is that under $250? Yes. Under $250. Okay. Now let's go down to the next question, number 2. How much interest is owed? Okay, will it put her over her goal of $16,000? Now I made another chart over here. So it says long-term cost on the right side. So let's fill that in. We've got 72 months. Our monthly payments are $240. Let's use the amount that's on the paper there. 248 times 59. Okay. Well, actually, let's just use what I said. So the answers on the answer key might be slightly different, and that's okay depending on how you round them. All right? Now, to get the total cost, I multiply 72 times 249. And I get $17,956.80. Okay? So that's the total cost. How do I find the interest? Well, if I take 17,956 and subtract the 15,000, which is my original loan, how much interest am I paying? $2,956 in interest. Okay? That actually may not be too bad, but it's still a lot of money, and it's more than she wanted to pay. So her interest here would be what we said, $29.56, and will it put her over her goal? Yes, it is too high. Okay, would you recommend this loan for her? Why or why not? And I would say no, because it's more interest than she wanted to spend. When you go to a car dealership, very often you'll go for a test drive, everybody loves the car, you want to buy it, and then you go in this office for several hours and you negotiate payment plans if you don't have cash to pay for the whole thing. And very often they have a deal with the bank where the car dealership will try to give you the best payment. And that doesn't mean it will be the best. Sometimes you need to shop around. There could be another bank or a loan company that would give you a better rate. And so there might be a way for Jessica to still have under $250 payment, but pay less interest. Or she might have to pay a little bit more in a monthly payment, but she could overall spend a lot less on interest. Okay, so I hope this gives you an idea about how to do this and a real world example of how to do math and use the numbers for your benefit to live the best life and make your own decisions. Not let money control you, but you decide how you want to spend your money. So I hope you have a great day, and that's all for now.